She threatens to steal your shit, burn your house to the ground, whatever she does. But typically, they just want you fired. That's the big punishment. Now, Billy Bob, Jim Bob, from yesterday's video, boy, that fucking bitch, she wanted to kill him. She wanted him burnt to the ground. She wanted him arrested, destroyed, right? And that was a man killer. Boy, Jesus, you know. All that was just one woman. He's got other women's stories, too. He's learned his lesson, I hope. He says he has. And I really believe him based on the horrors this guy has faced. Wow. You have got to cover your ass. This is not a he said, she said world. What I mean by that is if someone makes a complaint about you, the police show up, you're presumed guilty. They don't have real evidence, they have a complaint. But a complaint these days is treated as evidence when it's made by a woman against a man. Especially when she says that she was grabbed or touched or hit or raped. Or she says that you, right, demanded sex, and if she didn't give it, you would fire her, right? Crimes. That's not just a firing offense, it's a crime. A girl, a woman, can batter herself, hit herself with a rolling pin or a cooking implement. You know, something they should be more familiar with in a domestic capacity. They can hit themselves with that, leave a mark, and then say you grabbed them by the arm. You're going to jail, my friend. That mark on her arm, it doesn't, there's nothing that tells that cop that you did it. There's just the mark. There's evidence that a bruise occurred, that something happened, but the complaint itself is the nexus they use to tie that woman to that mark, to you. And it's called a complaint. Now, in the old days, when law was law, men were men and women were nervous, if you wanted to make a complaint, you had to swear in an affidavit to it being true. And if you were proven to be a liar, as many of these lying whores are, that's a jailable offense. It's a misdemeanor at the very least, and you go spend some time in jail, whether it's a couple of days or a couple of weeks. And in a serious case, it could have been a couple of months, right? Depended on how bad of a complaint you were making against someone else. Judges used to say, well, you know, that would have cost that person X amount of dollars or this many months in jail. I think you should serve it instead. Not so today. You know, it used to be he said, she said. They go, where's your proof? Well, I got a mark on me. That's not proof. Right? And the guy could complain about a girl, and the court would say, that's not proof. A complaint isn't proof. You guys arguing isn't proof of anything. But today, it doesn't, you know, it just takes a complaint. So cover your ass. If you're starting to have a problem with an employee, whether they're below you, your same pay grade, or someone above you, record every conversation. Because at any point, if they have demonstrated immorality, if they've demonstrated a willingness to violate, right, good behavior, then they can at any time step it up. And always have your phone handy. Get a recording app on it that is a one-touch or two-touch, right? So that you can very quickly go, oh, sorry about that, hit the button, and then just hold the phone and go, geez, you know, and to get into the conversation. And even if it means, right, even if it means encouraging them, oh, I can't believe you're saying that. What are you talking about? You think you're going to frame me? Tell me how you're going to frame me, you little wench. And then she'll fucking tell you exactly how she plans on breaking the law. Why? Because they're not that fucking smart. They think they are. Right? They think they are. They've got a little plan in their head. You have to have a plan in your head. It's called covering your ass. C.Y.A. C.Y.A. It's the only way to protect yourself. You know, women are smart enough to know that other people right there are going to turn tail against her. And another trick they'll do to give the weight of their voice more volume, more believability, is she'll have her friend with her who will testify, that is, lie for her on her behalf against you. Now she has a witness, right? If someone asks someone else to lie for them in a legal matter, it's called subornation of perjury. It's also a very serious crime, right? Because people go to jail over complaints and violations of law. So to lie and to get someone else to lie on your behalf against somebody, that's a very serious matter. So you can understand, with where we're at now, today, in politics and in business, how these immoral creatures, right, with the happy squeeze box between their legs, run around in a power-mad dash to have their needs of the moment met. Right? Why you need to cover your ass. There was a time when women didn't have the right. Right? The only thing they could really complain about was rape, and they better have a good story. They better have the marks, and they better have a witness. Right? Women's word were not taken. Women were considered liars. Their word in court was unreliable. And our system was set up so that you could cross-examine women in court and show that they were liars. Today, nah. You know, you're no longer allowed. In many, many cases, judge will throw it out or say you're not allowed to cross-examine that person. That poor little girl has been so terrorized by the threats that she's made a complaint about that she's not going to be subjected to you anymore, mister. Right? Because they tell such a good story. And they've convinced everyone that they're full of moral goodness. Right? The woman I was married to, 23 fucking years, knows I'm not a violent sort. Knows I'm not a violent sort. Yet she took something out of context. Took a screenshot off of my now defunct Facebook page and used it against me in a child custody mediation. Tried demonstrating that I'm a violent character. It was an underhanded, loathsome piece of shit move to try and hurt me, and in turn would have hurt my sons. But she was willing to do it, and she didn't waste a fucking breath. She didn't bat an eye. It was time to talk about that, and she pulled it out. I was fucking shocked because I had put that clip up there, and I'll tell you what it is in a second. I put that thing on Facebook well over a year before, right, she used it as evidence against me, meaning somebody, either she or one of her friends, screenshotted it and then saved it for that fucking moment when she could use it to demonstrate how violent and dangerous I am and what a threat I am. And I was talking about my new crossbow that I had gotten and how powerful it was, right? And how a hit from it, even though it was much slower than a bullet, was just as deadly because a crossbolt is very heavy, right? Where do I live? I live in an area that has a lot of sporting in the surrounding mountains. That is hunting, fishing. So talking to your friends and talking to others about your favorite new toy or your ability to, right, take down some game, it is not uncommon. In fact, my ridiculous ex's lesbian girlfriend, I can't remember her name, I think she lived that way about 15 miles, poses on Facebook with her fucking guns. I wasn't posing with a gun. I had a crossbow. It is not a regulated weapon, whereas the gun is. But her own lesbian friend, well, she can have a fucking gun on Facebook and talk about what an ass kicker she is. But I can't, right? The hypocrisy, the manipulation, right? And the desire that women have to control and dominate and destroy men, right? When the opportunity presents itself. That's how they operate. Cover your ass. Thank you guys for the superior cigars, the most excellent scotch. Thank you for subscribing. Thumbs up this and all Mgtow videos. This channel, all channels. Do it so that YouTube doesn't have any choice but to recognize the value that this information has to a segment of the population that makes them money. Because YouTube is run by a fucking snowflake of a social justice warrior woman. And she's got interviews on YouTube where people have pointed out what a hypocrite she is and how weak and characterless she is. Stunning. So I recommend giving everyone a thumbs up. Share by Facebook, share by text message, Gmail, fucking smoke signals, I don't care. The more you share, the more you get Mgtow out there. Not only, right, does it help other men, but it guarantees the word will continue to spread, which will have awesome long-term positive consequences for men and the Mgtow movement, which is men going their own way. That's the movement. That's the movement. Because Mgtow is freedom. Right? Freedom from oppression, from oppressive social norms, from oppressive legal rulings, from oppressive political correctness and political action. If you don't stand up now, if you don't start thinking like a fucking man now and helping other men find their nuts, their gonads, if we don't do it now, on a personal level and then on a higher level, we're doomed to become fucking chained to the ground by these vicious whores. And they are. Yeah. I'm not threatening anyone by saying, hey, you're going to be a slave. I'm saying, look at your history. Look at the trend we're in. Right? Look at the pattern of behavior that we're seeing. Understand it so that you can take the proper actions and cover your ass. I'll talk to you guys later. Semper Fi.